Now, did your church do Facebook live streaming? But the next question is, do they have someone running it who actually knows what they're doing? In case y'all are curious, the church I go to here in Denver is this church called The Rock. And no, sadly, Dwayne Johnson does not go there. And I go there mainly because my family's church is a really old, like super traditional church. And this one is more modern, like they actually know how to run a PowerPoint. They just can't figure out how to run Facebook Live. Like, I was hearing what they were talking about in the background. It was honestly super painful. But in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about how over this quarantine, how you cannot gain too much fat. And what you need to do to prevent yourself from gaining too much fat. Sounds interesting? Give me one of these and let's get into the video. Guys, I'm excited. Today is the first time in a while that I get to mow the lawn. And I don't know why, but I always get so excited for that first day, even though the first time you mow the lawn after a while is gonna be a lawn is now complete. Now it's just time to do a little bit of edging. I've done weed whacking and mowing the front yard, and no, it's not gonna show you video of me weed whacking because that's how I've damaged the lens before by getting a microscopic piece of grass in there, and I just broke a lens, so I don't want to risk it. Guys, I can't believe I'm about to say this, and sorry for the annoying ass dog in the background that keeps barking at me, but any plans you may have had for the summer to get shredded are now, they're gone. Or at least they look really good for the summer are now gone. Because Denver, like many places now, are on full lockdown. Meaning, most people are scared to even leave their house. And since you can't get to the gym, that's really, just this whole Wuhan virus has really thrown a big wrench into everyone's shredding or leaning plan. But because we're on lockdown, that means you're not going to be getting out as much, you're not going to be doing as much as you normally would. And that means you're going to have a tendency to put on a little more fat than what you would want. What's going on, guys? My name is Eric Buikema of the Saiyan Lifestyle, and I make videos like this dedicated to helping you guys become strong men through physical and mental training. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over some tips you can use to keep as little bit of fat on your body as you can possibly in quarantine, because unless you're just going to stop eating altogether during quarantine, you're going to put on a little bit of fat. Because if you think about it, it makes sense. You're sitting around all day probably doing video games, Netflix, hanging out with your bros, you're doing whatever, doing FaceTime calls. You're sitting around a lot, which means you're not expending as many calories. And in a previous video I talked about, the less you put on, the more you take in, you're gonna start gaining some fat. But today's video, I'm gonna give you a few tips on how to minimize that, starting with number one. So number one is going to be watching when you eat more closely. Now that we're in quarantine and lockdown, you're not going to be moving around as much, which means you're not going to be expending as many calories. So therefore, you need to watch when you eat a little bit more. Like for me, right now, even more so, I'm using the app MyFitnessPal, which if you've not heard of it yet, it's an app that you can plug your food in for the day and you can count your calories. So for me, one little trick I've been using lately to help keep some of the fat off is to, well, keep eating the amount of protein I need each day, but then when it comes to carbs, what I normally eat, cutting that in half, since I still need to power myself through these workouts I put up on my channel. But if you have not followed my channel yet, what are you doing? Go follow it right there. And there will also be a chance for you to follow it at the very end of this video too, if you watch all the way to the end of that. But before, it was not that big of a deal if you decided to eat a little bit of a snack, like eat a bag of pretzels or drink some pop. But now that we're sitting around all the time, those little things are going to add up very quickly and make it just that much harder for you to lose that excess fat. Y'all know I hate bragging, but not gonna lie, I feel like I did pretty good on the lawn this morning. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Okay, now the second thing you want to keep doing to avoid putting on too much excess fat during this quarantine is one that a lot of people are going to make. Keep being active. I don't know if you heard that last part of my last video, because I don't know what it is, but every time I turn my camera on, like 12 or 15 cars have to come flying by, and all these dogs have to bark at me. But anyways, so one tendency you're gonna want to avoid is to just sit around all day. Since sitting right now is the enemy when it comes to losing or keeping that fat off. You want to keep yourself active. A lot of guys are gonna have the tendency to think that, oh my word, I'm on lockdown, I'm on quarantine. I need to suddenly just sit around, play video games, and watch Netflix all day. That's not gonna help you when it comes to staying lean. Last time I checked, taking a run around the block, which I never do, is not banned. And see what I say? Every time I turn my damn camera on, like literally. And this is why I had to pause the video quickly, because like 10 cars literally came rushing by out of nowhere. And now I got all these cars that are gonna be suddenly coming on me now. Like I said, last time I checked, doing a simple walk around the block, running around the block, or doing some sprints like I've been doing is not against the law, as long as you stay within 6 feet. So, social distancing, which I've been preaching social distancing for like 3 years now, because on my Instagram you probably heard me complain about these people who have to always take the treadmill right next to you. And if you just find yourself sitting around the house, you know what, take this time to maybe like go on a bike ride, maybe do some work around the house, do some yard work, whatever it is, but just stay active. So as you can see, one of the things I do daily to keep myself just, well, relieve stress and also to keep that fat off is I always take a walk. And you saw me, this is my Dublin backpack. You probably saw me doing like work on the lawn today. That's one thing I'm always doing right now, just to keep myself more active. And I've also noticed that after I've been like doing like walks around my neighborhood, stuff like that, I feel hungry like I used to. And see what I mean? I need to quit filming this shit, because every time I do, literally 20 cars have to go flying by me. So that's another thing that I do. So one thing I've also noticed is that when I do take these walks around the block, I feel hungry like I used to. Like I've even noticed a difference in like my fat levels too. Like I used to be just sitting around all the time. Well, that was back when Denver was getting annihilated by our spring snow. And I could tell that my abs are not as visible as they normally were. But then as I began to take more and more walks, I noticed that my abs became more visible. And that's also in conjunction with me eating less carbs. Now my third point when it comes to keeping excess fat off your body during this time is to quit eating garbage. You know, when we're sitting around playing video games, binging Netflix, binging our favorite show on Amazon Prime, whatever it is, science has shown that we have a tendency to go after unhealthy snacks. So instead of picking up some celery and hummus or carrot and hummus, we go after things like pretzels, chips, candy, whatever, like pop, unhealthy food choices. And even though I've said in previous videos that having a bag of chips or pretzels every so often won't kill you, it's going to matter more that you're not as active as you normally are. Because if you think about it, about 3 servings of potato chips contains like 300 calories. And if you're moving around and you're super active, that's not going to matter a whole lot if you only do like maybe once or twice a week. But now that you're at home and you have this tendency to snack around, you're probably going to be saying that, oh, you know, it's not too bad if I have another serving of potato chips. Add that on with you not being as active as you normally are, and that's a recipe for disaster. Even though those calories really did not matter when you were really active, now that you're not, they're going to start adding up super fast. Which is why I say you should stick to things like water, low-calorie Gatorade, or if you have that Gatorade powder like I do, putting a little bit of powder in there just to spice the water up. Maintain your snacks to try to snack very seldom and do smart snack choices like trying to eat carrots and hummus or something that's going to fill you up, something with a lot of water in it. So you will really want to stay away from those sugary snacks and drinks or any junk food during this time, because like I said, it's going to start adding up really fast since you're not being as active as you normally are. And we want to make cutting as easy on ourselves, because who knows, the gyms might open up the end of May if we're lucky. Guys, I hope you realize this now that we're stuck at home for until about, I watched the live news broadcast with President Trump, and he said social distancing guidelines are going until April 30th, so it's going to be about until then, until my videos get a little more exciting. So until then, like this video if you have not. Comment any topics you want me to cover in the future down below. And also, and before I say this last part, if you guys have any questions regarding getting a masculine physique and mindset, please hit me up in my Facebook group, Saiyan Warriors, which is linked at the end of the video. And also, what are you doing? Subscribe for more content coming soon. And now we'll see you all later.
Is to go even further beyond